All right. Well, I guess we'll just start then.
All right, go ahead.
Welcome back to the Logan Squared Podcast. I'm your host, Logan.
And I'm your host, Logan.
Last time we talked about favorite video games, and we teased it a little bit. We're going to be talking about TV shows this week, and then maybe next week movies, or we might have a special guest. We're still working out how to add guests to whatever we're doing here.
At some point,
OBS.
we'll get deeper than video games and movies. We're starting out light.
Yeah, we're starting off easy. So we're just going to go through, we're going to start with TV shows that we watched as kids, and then, going into, middle school, high school, college, and then now will be the basic outline for the episode. So why don't you kick it off and let everyone know what you watched as a kid?
As a kid, well, obviously, as previously mentioned, Hannah Montana. That was probably my favorite show growing up, was Hannah Montana. I'm trying to think, as a little kid, I would watch, what was the turtle? Franklin? Was that a show? Or just
That was
books?
a book. I don't know. It might have been a show, too.
There's a show I'm thinking of. Yeah, I don't really remember what I watched as, a little kid. Probably Disney Junior.
I was going to say, I think I watched a lot of Disney. I mean, especially because my sisters, I watched Hannah Montana. I don't think we had Nickelodeon. We didn't really know what it was. But I mainly grew up on Disney. I think I grew up more on Disney movies than TV shows, so I can't really name specific TV shows besides Hannah Montana. What else was out around during Hannah Montana?
We watched Zoe 101.
Yeah, well, that must have been Nickelodeon or something.
But I had all older siblings, so we watched Zoe 101. There's
Wizards
Sweet
of Waverly
Life.
Place. Yeah.
Wizards of Waverly Place. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was a really good one. I loved that show. I'm trying to think of some of the other Disney ones that were out during that time. I feel like I remember I would get home from school and I would call my friend on our home phone and we would literally talk on the phone while we were watching a show together on Disney. But I don't remember what shows we were watching.
Sounds like something straight out of the 90s.
I know, it sounds like such a it's such a core memory for me, I feel like.
Yeah, I just remember it's easy for me to think back, because I lived at a different house all throughout elementary school. So when I think back, I remember when Adventure Time first came out, and seeing that ad on Cartoon Network. And I remember, I think it was right near the end of my elementary school days when regular show came out. But I remember I really wanted to watch Adventure Time, and it'd be new episodes every this day at 7 p.m. And I'd be like, Mom, can I stay up and watch this? And she's like, no, your bedtime's at 7. So I never got to watch Adventure Time. I could only watch the reruns or whatever. And it would always be the same 2 episodes that I would see. But I liked it. But I never watched a whole lot of it in elementary school. I remember being able, when I woke up and I could turn on the TV for the 5 minutes before the bus came, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl would be on. And I could watch up to the theme song. And my mom would be like, get outside. And I have to run outside because I was just listen to the theme song and be like, all right, that's enough Pokemon for one day. How about middle school? Anything stand out to you?
Oh, yeah. Middle school is a big one. 7th grade, I did online school because I got bullied too much in 6th grade. And so doing online school, I had an hour lunch right at noon. And that was when ABC Family would show Gilmore Girl reruns. And so 7th grade was my introduction to Gilmore Girls.
I thought it was something that you watched
to me.
Before that. I thought you and your sister grew up watching it together.
We did, but I
didn't know that
never,
was a middle school thing.
We watched it growing up, but I never really watched it. We would see an episode here or there, but 7th grade, I very well remember watching it every single day at noon. I would watch the rerun, and they went in order. So I like started to understand their story. And then that, I think 8th or ninth grade, when I had either my iPad from Memorial or my MacBook from Menor, we had Netflix. And so then I could watch the entire series. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is the best show I've ever seen. So, yeah, that was a big one. But other middle school shows, I watched a bit of Reba that year too, because they would play Reba after
What's Reba?
Gilmore Girls. Reba?
What's Reba?
A single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kid.
I've never heard of this.
Really?
What? How do you spell it? How do you spell it? I need to look this up.
Jana would
Reba?
be very disappointed in you. Reba.
That was close enough.
You spell it with an H. Reba.
Reba. This one?
Yeah, Reba McEntire. It's named after her. Yep.
You know, it looks kind of familiar.
Man. She had like a deep southern accent, and it was basically just about like her life and with her kids. Her like half of her kids are grown up, and her husband and her are divorced, and he comes over with his new wife all the time, and like it's a really funny show. I didn't watch all of it, but I remember watching it and Switched at Birth. I was obsessed with that show because my sister liked it, and I basically wanted to be my sister, so I watched a lot of Switched at Birth too.
Is that the one with the deaf girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen an episode of that for ASL. And I like that show. I only saw one episode. I feel like a lot of the shows I've seen like one episode of, and then was like, that was really good, and I never watched it again. Middle school for me, it was like right at the end of 5th grade. I talked about him in the last episode. My friend Nathan showed me this show called Ninjago. And it was right at the pilots that he showed me it. So I got to see this show from the beginning. My receipts right here. I have desk knickknacks that I like have. It's like Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
When he has like little knickknacks on his console. That's me. And after the move, I haven't put any of them out yet, but I still have... where's my camera? I have Kai. And I'm working on getting like show accurate armor for him. But yeah, so that was like another thing we talked about last episode. He showed me that show, and one of the first Lego sets I bought was Jay's golden weapon vehicle, his like jet. And I remember being like, this is Legos? I was like, this is sick. Like you could move like the pilot thing back, and like the wings would spread out, and it was so cool. I remember my stepdad being like, "Oh my gosh, like Legos weren't this cool when I had them." He was like, "These have like motion to them and stuff," and man, I was obsessed. Like so many of my memories in middle school, I just think about like getting big sets for my birthday, or like just being able to go to like Toys R Us and pick out a set. Oh man, such good memories. I remember waiting for each episode to come out and being like so hyped for it. We used to go on YouTube and like find like roundabout ways to watch episodes before they aired in America. So like sometimes they'd be like aired in like another language somewhere else, and we would watch it in another language and then like try to decipher what was happening in the episode before it aired on Cartoon Network. We were like obsessed. And then it finally came on to like Netflix, and we could like then like memorize every single episode, and it was an obsession. I had probably 50% of the sets, and that was something. It went all the way up to high school. I watched that show, and I mean to this day I still watch the OG seasons. But that was one of the things my mom told me. She was like, She's like, Logan, this has become one of those things that you have to give up after a while. She's like, the boxes usually say ages 8 to 16. Once you turn 16, you can't buy any more Lego sets. And I remember being like so distraught over it. And I still remember what my last Ninjago set was. It was like a Zeppelin from season 7, I think. Oh no, it wasn't the Zeppelin. It was the season after that, the Hands of Time.
Big fan.
The Hands of Time season. I think season 8, there was like a small set, and I got the Kai, and I think I was 17. So like I had to like sneak it because I think I had a car at that point. I went to Target and I was like, my mom would kill me if she saw this. So I bought like a really tiny set, and it had like Kai and like a little like, it was like one of those $5, $10 tiny boxes that had one minifigure and a little tiny set to it. And I had to hide it from my mom because I was like, if she sees this, I'm done for.
Wait, going back to the like waiting for episodes to come out, I hated that. We are so spoiled now with like Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu and all of it. But
They still sometimes make you do it.
well, now I feel like it's coming back because they know they can, like streaming services. But I
fun.
remember, I think one of the hardest episodes I've ever had to wait for was when Miley had to choose between Jake and, what was the other guy's name? I'm a fake fan. Oh my gosh. Jesse. Jake and Jesse. Didn't even have to look it up.
I don't remember that.
Oh my gosh.
I remember
think
waiting
the
for the
world
last
was
episode.
literally waiting with bated breath. Like the entire world. And it was very stressful to have to wait for the next episode because I remember it was the first time I ever saw a show say to be continued.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, and I was like,
I remember.
are you kidding?
It was one of those things too that like if you missed the air date, you had to wait for it to be rerun, and you didn't know when it was going to be. So I remember same thing like in elementary school with the end of Hannah Montana. It was the second to last episode. I didn't see how it ended. I never saw how it ended, and I had to ask my friend at school who watched it, and I was like, "How did it end?" And she was telling me how it ended, and I'm like, "Oh." I don't even remember to this day what it was, but like Wizards of Waverly Place, I didn't know how it ended. I was at a friend's birthday party, and I was like, "How'd that end?" And they were like, "Well, Max got the subway shop."
I
and
don't remember how that one ended.
because like only one of them could keep their wizard powers or something, and I remember being like, "Who's it gonna be?" And there was like this like huge competition or something like that, and I couldn't watch it because I was like, I think it was one of the ones that I wasn't home or I couldn't be up that late or something, and I just had to like get it filled in through friends.
Core memory right there. Watching the last episode of Hannah Montana. My friend Gabby and I, we grew up together and we decided to sit at her house and watch the last episode air together. And so we watched they showed the one before and then they would show the last episode. And I remember like sobbing. I don't know why. We were sitting on the floor. But I remember sitting on the floor sobbing at the end. And then
thing for you,
I went to my sister's house. Or not my sister's house. I went home, and my sister was like, "We need to watch it." And I was like, "I already watched it, but I'll watch it again." And then I sobbed all over again. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's all over."
Yeah.
And now the 20th reunion is happening. She put the wig back on. And
that's crazy.
That was really special to me.
I remember because Ninjago was just, like, there's two, they call them like the 2 pilot episodes, or depending on the region you are in, sometimes there's 1 pilot episode or 4. But it was just to sell sets, and it was so popular, they were like, all right, let's make this 2 seasons. And at the end of the final season, or like the last episode, I remember being like, is this done? Like, are we done with this? Mm-hmm. And it was like so sad. It was like cool to like watch it all the way up to that point. But then me and my friends were just like, is that it for Ninjago? Is it done now? And then seeing there was a poster that was announced, and it said like, Ninjago will be back, and it was a picture of Zayn. And I remember being like so hyped because we were like, it was like a close up, and the mask and then like the top of the mask didn't match color wise, and we were like, do we get hair pieces in the next season? And it was like the biggest hyped thing ever. Was like, because the ninjas didn't have their hair pieces like in the thing, so it was like, if the next sets give us the hair pieces, you don't have to go on eBay and get like, or buy different Lego sets you don't want just to get hair pieces for the ninjas for your stop motion videos, which we did make. So that was like so cool. And then from there on, it was like each season would end with kind of like a cliffhanger to be like, there's another season coming. So that was like the coolest thing to be like, my favorite show just keeps on coming back, and you had to wait such a long time for it to come back. And I was just like, I just want to watch it all right now. But
it's like
it was
his and hers TV anticipation.
Yeah. I liked it though. Like, it was so much fun, and I have so many memories of like waiting for it to come out, and then like watching Cartoon Network, and it's like the next episode of Ninjago is coming out on Friday, and I'm like marking it in my calendar. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna watch it. And most of the time, it was like something I already watched on YouTube, and like because I couldn't wait. I couldn't control myself. But I don't know if it counts too. In middle school is when I started watching a lot of YouTube. I don't know if that counts because like some of the stuff I watched was episodic, like Stampy, the old like Minecraft videos. I have his YouTubes up there. I literally would come home from school every single day at that time and watch Minecraft YouTube videos because that was like when Minecraft kind of like first came out and started getting big, and they were episodic. Like there's like I think Stampy has like over 500 episodes to his Lovely World series. But I watched like all of his and I Ballistic Squid stuff. And there's like some other YouTubers I watched, but they weren't like episodic like that. But I consider Stampy's Lovely World like a TV show.
Never watched YouTube.
Like YouTube's like
at all.
My childhood.
I would look up like funny auditions on America's Got Talent in study hall in high school, and that's about it.
I remember being like 13. I think it was 13 when you can like get a YouTube channel, and so many people didn't wait, because they don't really check. But I remember being 13 and being like, I got my first YouTube channel, and I was like, I'm gonna subscribe to Stampy right away. Like, I need to be, my first person I ever subscribed to is gonna be Stampy. And then it was like, then I'll do this person, this, and this, this, and this. And now I think I'm subscribed to like hundreds and hundreds of people now. I have so many. And as a kid, I wouldn't press subscribe unless I really, really liked their content. And now I'm just like, oh, small channel, subscribe. So I know how hard it is out there being a YouTuber. I'm a failed YouTuber like 3 times. Three time failed YouTuber. But yeah, I think that's like it for my middle school. Like I was shown TV shows, but nothing beat Ninjago.
Interesting.
Even in high school, I watched Ninjago.
I would say, what about high school?
High school, I had a friend freshman year. My best friend Matt was like, you would probably like this show called Doctor Who. And I was like, I don't like sci-fi stuff. I don't like Star Wars. I don't like all this stuff. But I was like, I'll watch it. And it was on Netflix. And it was that thing. Netflix would like cycle through stuff. And I remember when I first started watching it freshman year, it was like at the end of the year, it's going to be off Netflix. So you kind of had to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I had to watch it really fast. But I watched the first episode, Rose, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of good. I mean, the CGI sucks. But I was like, I guess it's 2005, so I can't blame it for much. And then I watched like the first season. I liked it. I liked the characters. I didn't like a lot of like the alien stuff in space. But I loved the horror episodes. But David Tennant came in, and I love David Tennant. And he was like, I remember talking to Matt at school one day, and I was just like, I know it's David Tennant's last episode. Like I can just tell that it's near the end of his run, and I don't want to watch anymore because he's my favorite Doctor. And he's like, it's hard. He's like, David Tennant's cool and all. He's like, the next one's the best, though. He's like, the next one's the best in my mind. And it's one of those things that, like, you kind of have to get over. He's like, it's one of those TV shows you kind of have to just get over that fact. Mm-hmm. And when I did, I was like, yeah. I was like, that was a good choice. And I was like, and I only had a year to watch it. So I literally, like, Doctor Who, that's what I think of when I think of high school, I was obsessed with Doctor Who. I mean, I spent so much money, and then literally like I think junior year I stopped liking it. So like literally like 3 straight years of just like every year for Christmas I'd get like Doctor Who stuff. I'd get Converse, I'd get suits and all this junk. I mean, my Doctor Who shelf isn't up right now, but there's sonic screwdrivers and
let's just bring down this special little speaker guy.
But yeah, I think that's like mainly like Ninjago and Doctor Who was high school for me. And I could talk for years and years about Ninjago and Doctor Who. So, what about you?
High school, again, we had Netflix, and growing up, my mom would always watch Grey's Anatomy when it came out on Thursday nights, and I was always interested in what she was watching. Like, I remember sitting at the top of the steps, like, looking down when I was supposed to be in bed. And that's, like, the only show she ever watched. So Grey's Anatomy was a really, really big one in high school. I can't watch it anymore. If I watch it now, I get nightmares about, like, medical problems, and it really freaks me out. So, I mean, that's okay. It's all right. But I loved that show in high school. What else did I watch in high school? More Switched at Birth. I think it must have finished while I was, like, early high school. The Fosters. All of those, like, really high drama ABC Family shows I really enjoyed. Of course, I was binging Gilmore Girls pretty much 24/7 in high school. Like, as soon as I finished it, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to restart it. By the way, if anyone is curious, which if you watch the show, you better be curious, I'm Team Jess. And we can talk about that if you want. We can fight about that if you'd like. But I do think, I'm trying to think what other shows I enjoyed, because I watched a lot, mostly like Netflix in high school. It was a lot of Netflix.
I think right when I stopped really liking Doctor Who a whole lot, like junior year, I remember going on Netflix and being like, well, a lot of my friends are liking, like my sister was like, you need to watch The Office. So I went on Netflix and I watched, a few seasons. I think I watched like 3 seasons of The Office. And I was like, it's funny, but like I don't want to watch the next episode. Like there's nothing keeping me here to be like, let me watch the next episode besides it's kind of funny. And I still think to this day I have a really bad hot take. Everyone hates it. I don't like The Office. I always say I think it's funny. I don't think it's good. I think the only funny character in it is Dwight. Because like everyone else is just funny because of Dwight. It's like what's the John Krasinski's what's his character's name? Jim. Yeah, that's another thing. I loved I'll get to that. Jim is only funny because he makes fun of Dwight. So like all the funny moments come from that. And Michael is like kind of stupid, but like he's funny with Dwight. I'm just like, so 3 seasons in, I was like, I don't really like this show. And I was like, Chris Pratt's in Parks and Rec, and I've heard that like if you like The Office, you'll like Parks and Rec. So
I did watch Parks and Rec.
I was like, I don't know if I really want to watch Parks and Rec because people compare it to The Office. So I watched like the first 3 seasons of Parks and Rec, and I really liked it. Then I continued it out, watched all of Parks and Rec, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that show. Maybe I'll like The Office now. So I watched seasons like 4 through 5 of The Office, and I was like, I'm just not getting into this. I was like, I don't think it's very good. So I watched the British Office, like what our office is based off of, with Ricky Gervais. Loved it. I thought it was so good. And then I remember being like, I don't understand. I was like, I'll watch The Office again. So I watched seasons like 6 and 7 of The Office. And I was just like, I don't think I liked it. I think I was at like the last episode. It was like when Michael Scott was leaving. And then I watched Parks and Rec again because I just was like, and then I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine all the way through up to that point on Netflix. And so many people were like, you don't like The Office? What's wrong with you? And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't really like it. And they're like, well, you have to give it a try and like watch a bit of it. They're like, you can't just stop at season 1. I'm like, I watched almost all of it. I stopped watching halfway through the last season. They're like, well, you gotta give it a chance. I'm like, I say the same thing about Parks and Rec though. Like I always say season 3 is when it gets really, really good. Yes. But then people are like, well, same thing with The Office. I'm like, I watched all the way up to the last season and it didn't get good. It was funny.
That is a hot take. I've never seen The Office.
You watched the first episode and we were like,
Well, you were. I have no way of watching it now. I am interested to see it because I want to see what the hype is about, People
hype is
quote
that it's
it
funny
all the time.
That's a huge bandwagon
thing. And I love Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec is such a comfort show. That's a lot of the shows that I watched in high school. I was mentally unwell in high school. Who wasn't? So I watched a lot of my comfort shows, Grey's Anatomy, obviously. Gilmore Girls, Parks and Recreation, and Friends was another one that I thought of. I have been obsessed with Friends since probably before high school, but that's one that I absolutely love too.
Yeah, I think like near the end of high school, this Disney XD show came to Disney Plus. It was the DuckTales reboot. And I remember seeing on like Instagram like, oh, David Tennant's gonna be the new Scrooge McDuck, and I was like, I never saw the original DuckTales. I think I played like the NES game at like daycare one day. I didn't know much about it. Watched that show, loved it, and that like is what reminds me of like college now too. Is like in college, in my dorm room, I watched Psych, and in class I watched Psych. Loved that show.
In
But
class?
it was like, well, it's because I had my math class freshman year was called the reverse classroom, where basically you learn everything outside of class, and then you only go to class for a review. But then attendance was mandatory for the class. But I've always been decent at math, so I'd do all the homework at home, learn all the stuff, go to class, and I'd put my earbuds in. I'd use my earbuds case, where I actually just saw my earbuds, those earbuds right there. I would literally just take out my earbuds and prop my phone up on the earbuds and watch Psych in math class in the back of the class because I'm like, I don't have to be here. Oops, sorry, Mike. That's the name of my microphone. And I've like most of the classes I didn't want to pay attention to, watch Psych. And then the second half of that year, I watched Psych, I think, once or twice freshman year. And then I moved in with my sister the next semester, and I think DuckTales season 2 or 3 just came out at that point, and I just like binge watched DuckTales the entire time. What about you? What did you watch in college besides Parks and Rec with me?
Parks and Rec. I feel like I'm so boring. I just always rewatch the same stuff on my own. Like, once I had, like, Netflix or, like, streaming services, it was basically, like, Friends, Gilmore Girls, Parks and Rec, all on reruns. Like, in...
Yeah, all the new stuff she sees is because it's something I liked and I made her watch. What year was it? 2023? We were both in college for that, right? It was right near the end of your college.
Probably fall of 22.
Yeah, so I was like, I think it was a kid in one of my classes. We were doing like breakdowns of like TV shows and movies, and this one kid in my class, his name was Chan, did his project on Doctor Who, because Doctor Who was just bought by Disney, or not bought, but they had a collaboration with Disney Plus. So Doctor Who was coming to Disney Plus, so people in America actually had a way of watching it. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm not really into Doctor Who anymore. But he was talking about it, and I was like, I was obsessed with it, though. Like, I guess I could just go back and watch all the horror episodes. And then I, like, watched all the horror episodes, and I was like, I kind of miss it. I'm going to watch all the Doctor Who episodes again. So I was watching all the Doctor Who episodes again, and I don't know, did you say you wanted to watch it, or did I just force you?
I said, that looks interesting, because I liked the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, I showed her some of the horror episodes, and she was like, should we watch it together? And I was like, yeah, but, like, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, half the episodes. So, like, I was like, well, I'll pick out the ones that are, like, that you should watch, and the ones that, like, you can watch, or whatever, or, like, the good ones. So we watched, like, half of each season, basically. But I'll never forget, because we were talking about crying on the floor earlier. One of my favorite things ever was hearing her, like, just crap talk Rose. The entire time she's like, I hate Rose. Rose is stupid. And I was like, oh, you'll be pretty upset when she leaves. And she's like, no, I won't. I hate Rose. And I was like,
if you don't want spoilers, don't listen to this.
Yeah, skip ahead like 2 minutes. So the episode Doomsday comes up, and it starts with, my name is Rose Tyler, and this is a story of how I died. And she's like, good. I hate you. Like, literally, like out loud, she's like, bye. I don't want to see you anymore. And then it gets to, like, the end of the second part episode, and it's, like, the scene where they're, like, at the wall, and she, like, falls to the ground. She's like, why would they do that?
I literally was sobbing. I'm getting teary-eyed right now thinking about it. Yeah. I have never been so affected by a TV show in my life.
It's so funny. We're watching it through right now. We're in season...
There's tears in my eyes.
We're in series 3 right now. We were watching Psych, and Psych is such a good show, but I think it kind of has the same thing with, like, The Office, where it's like you kind of have this, like, dynamic of these two characters, and it's like they might get together, they might not. And like, now this person's this direction. Now this person's single, but now this person's dating someone and it's serious. And then like they finally get together and you're like, this is so awesome. And then the episodes you're like, why am I watching this? Yeah, it's like it loses that like thing. So we got to that point, not saying like after that point the episodes are bad or anything. It's just like it's the same formula over and over again. But it's still a good show and I want to continue watching it. But I was like, I'm kind of getting the itch to watch Doctor Who again, so we started watching it again. And watching it with you, and you're like, I don't even know why I hated Rose so
much.
Like,
why did I hate her character? And why did I not like Christopher Eccleston either?
I think he's one that you appreciate more when you watch it again.
Oh my gosh. The reaction wasn't much better this time.
Oh,
Even watching it a second time.
He's sitting there. Pillow.
He's sitting there. I had a pillow up because I'm just like sobbing. And I'm like, what is wrong with me?
What was I doing during that scene?
I don't know.
I was laughing at you. I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, this is so sad. Like, it will never not be sad. It's such a good scene. But I'm sitting there, like...
I was wondering how I was going to react watching it through a second time.
You know it's coming, but...
It wasn't any better. Well, I guess this time I didn't end up on the floor.
I wish I had a picture of it when I was watching Doctor Who again in college. I remember... Do you remember what my screensaver was at the time? I had a screensaver, so I had 3 monitors at the time. I had 2 monitors next to each other and a TV above it. The TV above it was like a autumn kind of like scene, and then it had like the TARDIS. It was like just a stencil basically, like the TARDIS and then the 10th Doctor. So you can't see them, but it's like outlined, and then it's just like this beautiful background. And then my 2 monitors on the bottom. One was David Tennant against the wall, and the other one was Rose against the wall.
If you know, you know.
So it was just like the split of the monitors was the wall between
so we watched this episode, and we go, like, we were in the living room, and we watched that episode. I'm, like, on the floor sobbing, and I'm like, okay, I pulled it together. We walk into our bedroom where his monitors are, and they're on, and I look up, and I'm like, I get your monitor, like, I get your... back's like, what is it, home screen now, and I just lost it all over again, and it was ridiculous, and maybe I was just hyper emotional because it was college. I remember another show I loved in college, though.
Go for it. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the picture.
Girl. I was introduced to New Girl in college, and I already love Zooey Deschanel, but that's a really good one. Also, something super cool that I just learned about New Girl, or discovered, I guess, for myself, was I rewatched it. I've probably seen all of it about 3 times. I just rewatched it for the 3rd time recently. And we're from Ohio. And it was super cool because I'm watching like the last episode and it skips ahead a few years. So Nick has a kid. And you know, Nick has always been a Bears fan. And so his son is probably like 3 years old, I think. And he's got a jersey on, a Bears jersey. And the back of the jersey says Trubisky. And I was like, no way. I love that, like, Menor, Ohio representation. So that was super cool to see, like, Trubisky in New Girl. What are you looking up?
I'm trying to see if I can find this picture of my monitors for reference. Even if I just screenshot it and add it to the thing in post. Trying to figure out. I looked up 2023 because that's when we watched it, but I don't know exactly where it is in 2023.
But New Girl's definitely a comfort show now. I love Nick and Jess.
That was one too that I liked New Girl when we watched together, but
it follows that formula again where it's like, you know, they're gonna get together. Sorry. Spoilers. Yeah, I think I watched Friends a couple times, which that's a big...
I can't do Friends.
10 seasons. He can't do the laughter. Oh! How I Met Your Mother. I like that one, too.
You can kind of see it. There's... I love that. I mean, is it better on this one? Not really. That was my monitors. Yeah, I liked How I Met Your Mother. I can't do laugh tracks. I think laugh tracks are annoying. Don't tell me when I can laugh. Because, I mean, it's one of those things, if you see a show without the laugh track, it's not as funny. they're forcing you to laugh through the laugh track, and I think that's
I'm
stupid.
okay with that. That's why it's a comfort show. I
But
laugh a lot more.
I did like How I Met Your Mother. It's one of those shows that I won't be able to watch for like 3 years or something after that. But like if we got done with Psych and Doctor Who and watched How I Met Your Mother again, I would do it. It's been enough time. But
I like the character development in How I Met Your Mother.
I think it just I have a problem like again with the story. Like I
hate the ending.
I think the storyline is just so stupid because it's like, here's a story how I met your mother. So Barney did this for 100 days straight. And it's like, how does this have to do with
That doesn't bother me.
anything?
Like, whatever. What bothered me was the ending. It
happened so fast.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it in case anyone wants to watch it. But
Well,
the ending makes me upset. But I enjoy the show.
A common thing with shows is it either ends too fast, ends in a wrong way, or it's taking way too long to end. You know, it's like very rare shows end at a good spot.
That's why I feel like Parks and Rec they hit that perfect spot.
And they do it in a weird way where it's like, let's jump ahead, you know, however many years.
That's what New Girl did.
But I think it works, though, because it's like, here's the wrap-up of everything. So it's not like, it's not like they're forcing a wrap-up on you, you know? I think Psych ends in a good way. I've always liked the ending of Psych.
I don't remember how it ends, but that's okay.
That's all right. But then Psych had like movies afterwards that are. I think we only watched the first one or two. We haven't seen.
We need a Parks and Rec movie.
Yeah, I mean we had the 2020 thing. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, that's right. And we have waffles.
That was awesome.
Because Leslie loves waffles. Did we have pancakes? One of the two.
I think we had waffles. We had some breakfast food.
Yeah.
Eggs and bacons.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I love Parks and Rec. I remember in high school there was these things, I forget what they were called, but they were basically like Pokemon cards for Parks and Rec, and it was just like a bunch of like character cards and like cards of episodes, and if you were lucky you could pull like a signature from one of the cast members or like a piece of clothing or something. And I remember buying like I think 2 packs because at that time they were expensive because they were out of production for a long time. I didn't get anything good, but like one of my favorite episodes was Andy and April's wedding, and I got that as a card. And I think I gave it away to someone. I don't have it anymore.
People always say that we're Andy and April.
Because I'm stupid.
And I have a good deadpan when I want to.
Yeah.
I love when they're like, there's going to be, with murder. Nobody's going to get murdered. It's like, it's so funny.
Love the episode when they're going to the doctor's office.
Oh my gosh.
I got my ankles microwaved, x-rayed. April got her sinuses removed, looked at.
So funny. Such a great show. If you haven't seen Parks and Rec, 100% recommend.
Yeah.
It's
if you want to watch
such a great show.
Doctor Who, I'll give you the episodes you can skip.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Now? I mean, we kind of got into, like, Psych. We're watching Doctor Who right now. What's something you're watching right now?
I think the shows I watch now is more embarrassing than any
TV.
show I've ever seen. My guilty pleasure, 100%, is reality TV. I'm not proud of it.
I like children's shows. I mean...
You like...
I'll
still like DuckTales and stuff.
I'll go back and watch DuckTales. I'll go back and watch the first 7 seasons of Ninjago.
But I want to clarify. I don't watch, like, Keeping Up with the Kardashians or, like...
Basically.
I watch... Actually, it's probably worse what I do watch.
Yeah.
I watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
That's normal, though.
I watch these shows because these people, even if it's scripted, I don't care. Their lives are so messed up. It makes me feel a lot better about my life. So, like, right now... I'm, like, watching Dance Moms because it's like, oh, this is funny, petty, stupid. Like, I can turn my brain off and watch this, or I can do dishes or cook and watch this. And it's like, because, you know, I'm Gen Z and I need something distracting my brain, I guess. And Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is season 4. I'm ready. I've never seen The Bachelorette before, but I am watching it this season because Taylor Frankie Paul. But yeah, if you wanna... Those are really the only reality TV, though, that I watch. I don't watch... Do I watch any other? I think it's just those three. And not even Bachelorette.
I don't know. I feel like I come home and she's always watching something different. Like the other day you're watching Gilmore Girls, then you're watching New Girl, and it's like this. Like I come home just watching Friends. I'm like, are you finishing all these shows? Or are you just watching the episodes you like? Because I swear it's like one day it's like first episode of Gilmore Girls, the next day is the middle of Friends, the next day is the end of New Girl. You're like,
any Gilmore Girls fanatic knows this, and I think they'll relate. Gilmore Girls is just always on in the background. Like, it's one of those shows where I'm like, if I'm bored with the show that I'm already watching, I'll be like, Gilmore Girls is there.
Gilmore Girls, I think, is one of the only shows that you like that forced me to watch besides How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
And I was just telling someone at work this, because they were talking about how they love Gilmore Girls, and I was like, I liked it, but it reminds me of, like, the old Pokemon thing, where, like, the old Pokemon episodes have, like, filler episodes. And when you're watching, like, a rewatch, it's like, if you just want to see, like, the main plot progression, you watch, like, these specific episodes. Gilmore Girls is, like, that times infinity.
There's a lot
like
of filler.
It's, like, over the course of, 8 seasons, you get character development. If you're watching, like, season by season, you're like, it's the same, like, each episode is very, I feel like a different thing is happening and stuff is going on. But then there's, like, I don't know, like, there's not much character development until, like, near the end. You're like, I guess, like, I've always said, like, you hated it. I love Dean. When Dean was introduced, I was like, he's great. Even after he was kind of left, I'm like, he's still the best boyfriend. He loved Rory, and he, like, cared about Rory. Jess didn't love Rory and didn't care about Rory. And
Dean suffocated Rory.
But Dean truly loved her. No one else truly loved her like Dean. But then the writers were like, we had this Dean character. Let's ruin him. Let's put him in the ground.
Honey,
like
he
that.
was ruined when he started.
No. But I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like, everyone's going to not shut up about Dean because Dean was the best for Rory. So we're just going to have to destroy his character so people can move on from that.
No, people didn't like him before that.
I don't know about that.
As a girl, he suffocated her. Okay, I could literally do an entire, like, hour-long podcast on Gilmore Girls.
We should do that. We can leave your comment down below what we should talk about next, and we could do deep dives. Like, I bet.
Oh my gosh!
I bet I could do
a deep dive on Gilmore Girls.
I could do a deep dive on Ninjago. I could go by episode. I could go by season. I can talk about how much I hate the redesigns and how it ruined the show. I can talk a lot about Ninjago.
We're very passionate about the shows we like.
I'm very passionate about a lot of things.
I mean, considering we've been watching them for the past...
Yeah. I've been watching Ninjago for 15 years.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, that's weird.
Doctor Who... 10? I think around 10 years I've been watching Doctor Who. It's another one I can talk about, but I'm...
Probably 11.
I'm no longer, like, a fanatic of Doctor Who. I like it. I watched the Chudy Gatwa era. I liked Chudy as the Doctor. I didn't see anything in between Chudy and Peter Capaldi, the Whittaker era.
Love Matt Smith.
Matt Smith is great. And we're getting close to his era, too, which is great.
I love Matt Smith. He's so adorable in that character. Like, he just does it so well.
I always say it's one of those things, I hate change. And we talked a little about that last episode, too. And I think it's one of those things that just my personality will always come up. I hate change. And when David Tennant first came in, I was like, I don't like him. And I was like, I love him. And then when David Tennant was leaving, I was like, I'm never going to like the new guy. And then Matt Smith, I was like, I like him. And then Peter Capaldi came in, I was like, I don't like him. And then, like, a season, I was like, I love him. And I was just like,
I couldn't get into the Peter Capaldi. I was like, ew, he's old.
He's so good, though. He's so good. I love Peter Capaldi.
I'm going to try to watch him this time. This time through.
But yeah, so I think next episode is movies. We're going to talk about
movies, which was really hard not to bring
and I can
up tonight.
I could literally just pan the camera over to my two official posters of my two favorite movies. So a little bit of a teaser there. What else? We might have a special guest coming on. There's someone that's been watching the podcast since not episode 1 technically, but I literally met him this year, and he had interest in coming on the podcast. And I feel like he was kind of, when I was in high school, he was kind of in a similar spot to us. So it'd be really cool to have him on. And he's probably watching this once it airs in a week from now.
What's up?
What's going on? Maybe we already recorded with him. That's what's weird about pre-recording. But yeah, what else?
And, thanks to my cousins.
Oh, yeah.
For watching.
Who are leaving comments, boosting our algorithm.
So funny.
That's one of the things you can help us do. I always hated doing this with our other YouTube channels, but now we're diving in deep to this. Subscribe.
No.
Subscribe, baby. No, but if you don't want to subscribe, you don't have to, honestly. But if you want to help out with our channel and growth, you can follow. We have a TikTok, we have an Instagram, we have this YouTube channel. If you watch our content, you're helping us out. If you like our content, you're helping us out. If you comment, it just boosts the algorithm up to be like, people are going to be like, hey, this is good.
I have 2 responses to the comments. Can you guys play GTA next? No. Oh.
Oh, yeah, we should do that. We should do like a little comment thing at the end. I like that.
No, I did not have the Hannah Montana Wii game, and now I'm really upset about it, and I'm going to make him find it on eBay.
I might.
And we will be playing that. So maybe we'll stream that, because if there was a Hannah Montana anything that I missed out on,
that's the other
I'm
thing.
suing my parents.
We're going to start streaming. I think by the time this episode airs, we would have already streamed. So there's no point in announcing it right now. But for future, in case you missed yesterday's stream or whenever it happened. When do we upload? Saturdays? Sundays. 2 days ago. 2 days ago we streamed something. Or unless there's technical difficulties. Why are we pre-recording? It's good. We need to pre-record. But so we're going to be starting to stream a certain day of the week. We're going to figure it out. Follow us on our social medias to find out when our normal streaming day is. Right now, it's going to be Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. In the future, we will be playing other things. We might play some Stardew live stream.
Maybe GTA.
Maybe GTA 7.
If we can convince each other.
Yeah, so comment down what you want us to play. It's going to be a different thing. It's not going to be a podcast-like thing. It's just going to be us playing video games and talking, and that's when you can ask questions. We're not really doing Q&A stuff at the moment with the podcast. Maybe we'll get there. Who knows? But you can leave us comments, tell us what you want us to talk about next, and all that fun stuff. What do you want to do? Sign off?
Yeah, let's sign off.
All right, do it. Don't salute. You're not in the military.
I probably did it wrong anyway.
Probably. I know how to, but apparently I learned the other day it's apparently wrong for a civilian to salute. I've done it a whole lot of times as a joke.
I'm so sorry. All right.
If anyone in the military is watching this, I'm very sorry.
I know how to do a thumbs up.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
I know how to do this.
Okay, bye.